parents of trans kids, which are completely insane, about sharing trans joy, and I want to share the joy of being the parent of a trans person.
So let's talk about your approach specifically. So I might be wrong about this, so forgive me if I am. You believe that children innately know their gender from a young age. From what age, or is that wrong?
So my approach is the one, it's not Helen Weberly's approach, it is the international standards approach. And that is to sit and
it's who's international. Different nations have different standards. There's no one size fits all.
There's two that the world follow. There's the WPATH and there's the Endocrine Society.
Yes.
The Endocrine Society have been accused, have they?
No. Well, you can pick different experts where you want, and I can pick other ones if I wanted, and other people. I'm not arguing. I don't have an opinion on this. I'm just saying that I've read a lot about it.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about trans kids, transgender affirming care, puberty blockers, crazy wingnut doctors who are experimenting on kids, and trans parents. I'm also going to throw in something at the end, so make sure you stay. That's going to show you exactly what all of us here are talking about, okay? And I mean, you people who watch this channel, and damn well what's ever happening to these kids is so insane and so wrong, and they do not have statistics, and they do not have none whatsoever do they have any proof that this works and that trans kids exist. This nutcase Dr. Weberly lost their license to practice and is still continually pushing this puberty blocker nonsense. So I don't want to sit here babbling, and I want to get on with this, but so I just want to also thank you so much for liking, subscribing, helping this channel grow. It's like I can't, obviously, that can't do this without you. It means the world to me, and I really want to make sure that I'm doing the best I can do to get these message out there that, in my opinion, YouTube and everybody else who disagrees with me, full on disagree with me. I'm all about that. I disagree with you. I just want to make sure that YouTube understands I am an actual transsexual elder of the community who disagrees with what's going on with these young people, and I do not believe there are trans children. So let's just get on with this right now, and I have a couple great things to react to here. Well,
I don't actually. I'm not an expert in this field, but I know that though the people that one of those people that you've cited have been accused of covering up evidence, have been accused of having skin in the game. So I'm just saying nothing is really, there is a very muddy field here, and I'm saying that there is a paucity actually of data, despite citing loads and loads of reviews and this and that. We haven't had such a number of people seeking and taking treatment for such a long number of years. That's that right. We have to be, as you would as a doctor, able to say that there are gaps in the data. We don't know, like with smoking and cancer. So let's just go back to your belief from what you've read about when children can decide and can know that they may want to change their gender.
So if you speak to as many parents of transgender children that I've spoken to, there are many different stories, and some will say it's a later realization.
But wait, you're speaking to parents. You're not speaking, first off, you're not a therapist, okay? You're a doctor, a medical, supposedly, doctor. So you're not a therapist, number one. Number two, what do you mean you're talking to the parents? This is where we're having the issue right here. I'm telling you right now, the parents are making the choices for their kids. It's because the kids are saying at 2, my daughter knows they're a boy at 2, or my son knows they're, a girl at 3. So right there, I already know.
Maybe they kind of knew something was always a bit.
The parent kind of already knew there was something a bit. Oh my God.
different. Something was up. But they just
Oh my
thought, is
God.
my kid going to be gay, or what is it?
Oh my
And that's
God.
when the language comes in, maybe 11 or 12. And there are many, many parents who will say that as soon as my toddler was able to
Toddler. I told you. Toddler. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
self-identify in any way, like recognize
My toddler self-ID'd.
himself in a mirror, or
I
understand
can't.
that they were a separate human being to other
I
human
can't.
beings. That's that awareness of yourself, that they were very early on saying, I don't know why you're putting me in the boy queue because I'm a girl. And so I've spoken to so many parents who told me their own experiences, and obviously that's backed up by the research. And so yes, children have a very clear.
What research, Dr. Webley? I hope I'm saying her name wrong. Weberly, whatever. I don't really care. What research?
Idea of their own identity from a very early age.
What age do you think they do?
I think
could you say from
difficult
the
to
age?
put that.
Yeah.
It's difficult to put that number on it, isn't it? I think, that age when a child looks in the mirror and understands that what's looking back at them is themselves, that sense of awareness.
What?
And then you put that child in
Has this person ever been around children? What child, a toddler, looks in the mirror and gets a sense of themselves? Oh my God. I mean, we've got to laugh because it's just so absurd.
in amongst other children like them, and they're like, I'm not like this child.
So do you think, at what age do you think it is, what would be the lowest age that you think, and I'm not saying in every case because you'll look at each individual child, I'm sure, but what would be the youngest age that you think it would be appropriate to puberty blockers?
Well, you see, you've answered your own question. Puberty starts at a different age for every single child.
True.
You don't need puberty blockers until puberty has started.
So 8,
whatever
9,
age puberty.
it could be 8 or 9. What is the youngest?
A puberty blocker blocks puberty. So the best time to give a puberty blocker to a child that's clear in their identity is when puberty starts. Yeah.
Which could be 8 or 9, which is the scariest thing I've ever heard of. Actually giving an 8 or 9. You just wait. Hold on.
So just let's take in facts. What is the youngest age that you've treated a child pre-puberty?
I haven't personally treated children for a very long time. I haven't practiced. So I think probably 10, something like that. Personally.
And just talk about your, we'll talk about puberty blockers first because we're on that subject. But there are concerns that they could cause long-term risks. I know that you might have other ideas, that it disrupts the natural alignment of mental, physical and social development. It could lead to permanent infertility, loss of sexual function, and there is a risk of bone health. And of course, we haven't had decades of work on this, but so what would be your concerns around that?
My concerns around that are that how come we've been perfectly able to prescribe the exact same puberty blocker for cisgender children for years and years for precocious puberty, for exactly the same indication to stop puberty? How come we're not worried about the risk of those effects that you talk about, which actually aren't true?
Okay, first off, wait a minute. You just went all off the deep end, Dr. Weberly. First off, precocious puberty is not the same thing. That is actually just puberty that's ahead of its time for an actual girl who's maybe 6 years old, who is growing huge breasts, and that is not okay. So all they do is slow it down. I personally don't even really understand if that is going to really hurt the child in the long run, right? Should we let are we doing that for the mental capacity of the child, or is it more worth just letting her peers catch up with her? And is it really worse to give the child this medication? And now you are actually saying that a trans kid is the same as a precocious puberty kid. They're two separate things. You are giving puberty blockers to a quote unquote trans kid because you think this child knows who they are and wants to be a boy, so you're blocking puberty when there's nothing wrong with this child. Literally nothing wrong. They're going through completely normal puberty. Okay, there's not. You're mixing the two and acting as if they say, "Oh, you guys use that same argument all the time." Well, you're okay with cisgender kids having it, and what? Actually, I don't think a lot of us are really even okay with that. But that being said, they're doing it for an actual condition, which is puberty that's ahead of time. You're saying that these kids are going through the wrong puberty and you're going to stop it. And then you said that there is no evidence of this stuff having all these medical problems. That's also a bunch of bullshit, and you're lying, because I have proof. I will show you something here near the end of all this. And also, we all know it. We all 100% know there are long-term health effects from Lupron, which is a puberty blocker that they are using on these children. There are long-term. I've also interviewed about 5 or 6 women who have been put on this, and it destroyed their lives. Destroyed their lives. So you don't think this is going to do the same thing to these young little 9-year-old girls or boys that you're giving it to, you wingnut?
In those children. How come we don't worry about cisgender children?
We
How
do.
come we're still prescribing these exact drugs for cisgender
A very small amount of kids are taking that.
children?
Forgive me, a doctor looks at harms versus benefits. And for those children with precocious puberty, there is a clear indication with decades of research. So it's all about the risks and the benefits. If you argue that these children might change their minds, they might be confused about their sexuality, they may have same-sex desires, or they might be traumatized. We all know the case of Kira Bell, which I'm sure you're very familiar with, who's the most famous case, you know, the detransitioners who regret what happened and the life-changing effects on the drugs. So I'm saying, you know, this is a balance that doctors have to make. And so just to say, because we use these drugs on other people for another condition doesn't make it okay necessarily to use it on this condition. So you feel that these drugs are completely safe and there is no side effects. That is what you are saying here. You know, that you're doing.
So you've answered your own question. You know, you're saying that it's absolutely okay to use this for cisgender children, but not transgender children. And then the list that you reel off is the list that's not created by medics, not created by gender specialists. It's created by the public. Oh my goodness.
What's a gender specialist? I'd really like to know what a gender specialist is. It's like when you learn gender theory or queer theory in university. It's theory. Gender specialists now it's all over the place. I don't know if there's an actual real what does it all mean? What does all this gender study thing even mean?
Going to be infertile. Oh my goodness, they might change their mind. You know, all of those things. And what's happening?
How dare you, lady? How dare you? How dare you? Oh, they might change their mind. A lot of these young people have changed their minds. Tons of them have changed their minds, and now they're literally scarred mentally and physically. You see, this lady does not care about these kids. She's really scary.
As a result of that, what's happening? Please, if I may, what's happening as a result of that is that all the transgender children, and they do exist. You know, we could have a debate as to whether transgender children exist or not, and they do exist, absolutely. No. But every single transgender child in this country from now on will have to go through puberty, just in case all of that list that you gave.
I want to remind all you out there, I went through puberty. I'm 62 years old, and I'm strong. I'm focused. I am so healthy, and I've been 30 something years on testosterone. Okay. So don't you dare even try that, lady. I would debate this lady out of her panties. Okay. Don't you dare ever say that. This is not true. Every child needs to go through puberty, whether you think so or not. 100% they need to do that. And there is no such thing as trans kids.
That's not been created by medics. It is in some way true. And the research backs it up that it's really important to give gender affirming care to transgender children. And that's what's been stopped in this country. And all of those transgender children will now have to endure puberty when it could have been stopped.
Yay.
And then the ramifications for those children in later life is that they will have endured puberty. They will always be identifiable as trans.
Oh,
Do
see?
you believe?
Okay, she just said it. She just said it. This is the only reason they're giving the puberty blockers to these kids is so that they are not identifiable as trans when they get older. Okay? You see how mixed up this whole thing is? It's first you got the trans activists. Trans rights are human rights. We're trans. We identify as trans. We're trans identified. Then you got people like me who are like, I just want to walk the world as a dude. I went through full puberty. Don't you dare say I look like female. You know damn well. Okay, I may have small hands. I don't have an Adam's apple, but I pass 100%. It is possible to move forward in your life as a transsexual person by going through puberty. They just want to give these puberty blockers to kids for physical attributes. Do you realize how insane that is? So that they don't have physical attributes of a male or female. That's how twisted. Instead of trying to teach somebody to live in the body they were born with, sorry, you got it. It's just how it is. Let's work on your brain and try to help you do that. But instead, they'd like to take this 6-year-old, twist all their genetical whatever it is, and twist them and move them around for their weird experimental stuff so that they don't look like a boy or a girl when they're older and no one can identify them as trans. It is actually one of the most twisted, insane arguments ever.
There's a reason why, or why do you think there are so many more children that want to transition? And it has grown sort of exponentially, particularly among girls, I understand. Yeah. Why do you think that is? Do you think there's any societal pressures, trends? Do you think there's anything in that? Or do you think this is innate in populations that we just never saw it before?
It's always been there. It's always been there. What we didn't have before, and as often happens in society, is we didn't have the language, we didn't have the understanding, we didn't have the acceptance, even though acceptance is reducing at the moment in the United Kingdom. And what's happened over the last 10 to 15 years is that we have words to describe it. We have medicines that we...
Okay, you know what? You're such a liar. Okay, we've had words to describe. How did I do this 30 years ago? Don't try it. It's been around for a long time, okay? Okay, so I was not a trans kid. I was just a little girl who was butch, and I never thought I was a dude. Okay, of course I wanted to be like the boys, and so my dad taught me how to stick with it and beat the boys, okay? And then not until I became an adult was I like literally trying to deal with this stuff, and I figured it out, and this was the best option for me. But how dare you say this because they didn't have the language? We've always had this language. You're the wingnuts who started calling kids trans. It's such, I mean, I can't. I mean, I'm going to put a link to this because I'd love for you to watch it. I just can't. This woman really upsets me every single time. And I also have some really good other stuff. So bye for you, because the rest of the conversation is awesome. You should listen to it because this lady wrecks her big time. Hold on, I'm going to bring up this next one here. Okay, you know how I love this guy, the body language expert. He's so awesome. So I found this video, which really, now I'm going to go into a trans parent, okay? So we're going to analyze a trans parent. And you're going to just see how the whole thing is manipulation. It's all false. And it's literally parents and doctors making these kids trans. Okay, it's not the kids, it's the adults in the room.
Okay, you're about to see the video of a mother of a trans son or a daughter, who has a court date tomorrow for her name change. And yeah, it's a bit confusing, right? Because the first thing that I've noticed, like in the past, I don't know, 4 or 5 years on the internet, is that it is hard to tell when something is parody or is real, or if people are doing this for clicks or for kicks and giggles or for clout or whatever. But this is the kind of things that's why I had to tweet. This degeneracy has to stop. I'm going to play the video so you can see her body language, which is the most important thing of this. And, well, of course, pay attention to the captions that are there to help you understand this insanity.
Tomorrow is my son's court date for his name change. I am so excited. I can't think. I didn't even think to get like a personalized gift, I could kick myself. And so now I'm just like scrambling for ideas.
Gross.
You may just have to get something late. Anyway, I just want to share that. I know a lot of creators talk about sharing trans.
A lot of creators. Did you catch that? A lot of creators. So she's a transparent creator. Just right there, blew it. This is it. They're using their kids, okay, as clout. What he just said, okay? He just said it. It's the most insane, degenerate stuff going on here. And these parents are using their kids for clout, for influencing stuff. Oh, my God. And rewarding the kid. I didn't know if I should have gone and got him a present for getting a name change.
Joy, and I want to share the joy of being the parent of a trans person and getting to be part of just a really exciting moment for him. For us, it's exciting for me. I love it. I love the name he chose.
It's exciting for me.
All of it's so cool. All of it's so cool. In the midst of all of this,
it's all about her. It's literally all about her.
I'm just so excited. So, bye.
Yeah. So again, I have seen so many times that
This guy is so great.
Okay, let's stop for a moment. Like, let's pretend for a moment that I'm mistaken, and this is a parody of something, which I'm pretty sure it's not.
It's not.
The fact that you could think that this is a parody of something that is actually happening, it is a problem in itself.
Yes.
Because parodies are, satire is like some kind of, like calling out on something. Okay, this is happening. We have to make fun of this. Yeah. Okay? And if this is a parody, it means that this is happening in real life. But I see her body language, and her body language is so genuine and joy. It's not exaggerated. It's on point in the words and everything. And especially the part. I want to make especially emphasize, and when she says the words, I know a lot of creators.
Bam.
She means that trans creators or trans parents, transparent sounds catchy. Transparent creators. I don't mean invisible, but parents of trans kids, which are completely insane, about sharing trans joy, and I want to share the joy of being the parent of a trans person.
Wow.
These people.
Do you see his frustration with it all? I feel you, friend. I'm with you, my friend, and I'm a transsexual, and I'm totally with you. He's totally busting the. He's just so great because he's really so showing how insane this. He caught exactly what I caught. The creator.
People should be in jail.
Yes.
I'm going to say it right like that. These people should be in jail. And one of the questions in my program, by the way, remember that I have a masterclass for body language and manipulation and everything. The first question that you have to ask in any sort of video is who was behind the camera. And it's this obvious that she's holding the camera herself. She's recording this herself. She's proud of this. She's proud of her daughter, son, getting a new name tomorrow. And of course, most important, she absolutely has to record this.
Yes.
For the world to know about her joy.
Yes.
Which I would define more like posturing. Like, I can't wait until my friends look at this or say, oh, you are in this milestone.
Excellent.
Of your kid changing her name to, I don't know, John or Peter or Mark or I don't know which other name it would have picked because it has to be a male one. You can say male. You can say male and female. I don't know if it's if it can be done, but it's a good thing at the same time that in the UK, we have a glimpse. I have a glimpse of common sense. Is that the Supreme Court has already ruled that no, trans women are not women, which is a big advance. And even Keir Starmer had to say, oh yeah, this is human female. He had to say, have to, change curves. But this, The problem is that we have in the Western world, and whatever is not the Western world must be laughing at us right now. The problem that we have in the Western world is that there are people that are so enmeshed, are so, deep down the rabbit hole of posturing and say, oh, I am a father, I'm a parent of a trans person. Now, how cool I am.
Wow.
For being this, for being this situation. How you're not cool because you have a regular cis daughter or cis son.
Wow.
The way that
he's just saying it all. He's just saying everything we all here want to say. And I'm so happy people are saying this finally. And big creators like him are saying this because it's the truth. I mean, and he does this for a living. He does body language and he can just see right through this. And the fact, I'm just going to keep going to that fact that she literally called herself a creator.
They talk. So this is kind of an illness.
Yeah.
And it's kind of projecting illness on kids and teenagers.
Yes.
And that's what's happening. That's the thing that triggers me. And the most horrifying part is that they have no shame or qualms or whatever. Or they are not worried in concealing anything. They really want to project that. They really want to say the word, oh, yes, this is so great for me, the parent of a trans person. Yeah. So you realize that beyond biology, because they could say all the time, follow the science, but not this science, in which they are going to say, hey, you know what would be cool? It would be cool to have a trans kid because every single one of my friends have a trans kid. God. But it's like Alicia has 2 of them, and I have none. I must have one of those. And you see, there's affluent white liberal women because that's
she has 2 of them, and I want one. I mean, he's like nailing it right now. It's literally, it's so disgusting, you guys. Like, I want a trans kid too. I'm gonna have one. I told you when that doctor was saying, the parents come in and say it's literally the parents totally making their kids trans. I don't know how old the kid of this one is.
It's a target audience. They are this delighted of literally ruining the lives of their sons and daughters for what? For some kind of social justice warrior, credit score, woke points, something to say in your next friends meeting or over some cup of coffee or something. That is the issue. It doesn't matter that we are trying to bring common sense back. There are people that are so brainwashed that they will keep on pushing this on teenagers, on their own kids, which is the most disgraceful thing that any human being can do. Harm your own kids purposefully and with the most insane approach to anything that can be, that is the farthest thing from humanity that you can imagine.
Thank you.
And it's happening. Has been happening for a while. And no, this is something that I can understand only from the angle of brainwashing. This is plain brainwashing.
Tomorrow is my son's court date for his name change. I am so excited.
You see the way that she shakes her head and she looks at the camera. Wow. Again, I would love to think that this is a parody.
I didn't even think to get like a personalized gift. I could kick myself. And so now I'm just like scrambling for ideas. You may just have to get something late. Anyway, I just want to share that. I know a lot of creators talk about sharing trans joy, and I want to share the joy of being the parent of a trans person and getting to be part of just a really exciting moment for him. For us, it's exciting for me. I love it. I love the name he chose.
He's freaking out. He can't even, he's literally freaking out.
Just all of it's so cool. All of it's so cool. In the midst of all of this, I'm just so excited. So,
in the midst of all of this, I can imagine that she missed in the midst of all that is happening, all the current state of the world, the United States with the one of the White House and everything. But I would like to know what you think about this in the comments.
It is just so disgusting that this is happening and that people are doing this to their children. And I sometimes, I don't even know. I feel like I'm just beating it over and over again. But when I see people like him pick up on this and really say those things, I have hope that we're going to hopefully come back to some sanity. Now, I want to bring up this because how that doctor was talking about, well, cis kids get it and blah, blah, blah. I found this Detransitioner here. Somebody actually sent me this, one of the watchers of the channel. Says, the endocrinologist who transitioned me when I was in middle school will no longer be allowed to practice medicine. This is amazing. Watch this. So wait, did you see, how old did she say when she was in middle school? That's what my kiddo is in, middle school. Okay, so that's 12, 13 years old, okay? Hold on here, watch this.
2 doctors in North Texas will no longer practice medicine. They were sued for violating the state's ban on gender reassignment drugs for children. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton sued the doctors, claiming they provided high-dose cross-sex hormones to dozens of underage patients, then falsified diagnoses and billing codes to cover it up. Yesterday, the Attorney General announced he'd reached agreements with the doctors to stop practicing medicine on patients. They can now work only in research, administrative, and academic areas.
So if it's an actual real thing, why are you lying about it? Why are you lying about it? If trans medicine and gender affirming care is a real thing and you all have all these studies, why are you lying about it? So this, you people are insane. You're actually sick and insane. You're doing this to kids. What is happening? So this young person is the person who wrote that. That's the person who wrote this thing. And then this, so will no longer be practicing medicine, what I just showed you. And so this is the person, get ready. I hope you're ready for this. This is their chest surgery that they got in middle school. Middle school. Stop saying it's not happening. Okay. And then it says here, oh my God, 14 years old. That's how old they were. Okay. 14 with fresh mastectomy scars. Oh my God, you guys. I just can't. And a lifetime of regret. I just can't even, I can't read it. It's making me so angry. The whole thing is just making me so angry. No child should truly grasp the weight of such irreversible decisions. Irreversible. There you go. Irreversible. And that's what they're talking about. Now they got to live with this for the rest of their life. And this doctor in the beginning said all kids know who they are. No, they do not. This is a fact right here. This kid did not know who they were. They put them through this pain and agony, okay? And now this kid, okay, has to put up with this for the rest of their life. And you're all acting like this is completely normal. And not all you, but all you doctors. This is totally insane. It's not true. What you're doing is not real, and it's disgusting, and it's child abuse. I don't know if you know this, but that they were giving Lupron to, people are sending me so much information, you guys. They were using Lupron, okay, for autism, saying it could cure autism. So they were giving this Lupron to autistic young people, okay? And then, so here, the Dr. Geyers, I think his name is, okay? And they were using, Lupron was used to cure autism, no real consent from autistic kids because kids can't consent, caused infertility, development harm, and seen as abuse. Look, this is such a great chart. Now, instead, this is what they were using it before. Now, they're using it in gender clinics. Lupron, the same medicine they were using to cure autism, they are now using to affirm gender, questionably informed consent from autistic kids. A lot of the kids who say they're trans are autistic. Same risks, infertile bone loss, emotional impact, framed as progressive healthcare. Oh my God. This is just mind-blowing. I'll put a link to all these videos and all of this stuff in this particular. This is such a great Substack, and it talks about how they were using Lupron for years to cure autism, and that this doctor's another wingnut doctor was saying that it would cure autism, and that all, and it clearly did not cure autism. And now they're literally using it to do the same. They're basically just now changing the name of what they're using it for. Isn't it quite interesting that a lot of these kids who are trans are autistic? I mean, a lot of this stuff plays into each other, everybody. It literally does. Once we all start getting all the pieces to the puzzle, these are all the pieces to the puzzle. And they can't hide it from us anymore. We're putting the pieces of the puzzle together to save these kids. Okay, I'm going to keep telling you, I'm not going to stop. Okay, I'm not going to stop. This is so insane. I mean, I'm not crying today. I refuse to cry today. Okay, I'm mad today, and I'm just gonna keep going. So I hope that you see what I'm doing. I'm going to put a link to all this stuff in the description of the video today so you can all see what I'm talking about and hopefully support all the work that we're all doing, including, again, I'm just going to keep saying, can't do this without you. Thank you guys a lot for helping me get these messages out there. Whatever's happening is so twisted and weird and has nothing to do with being trans. It's some experimental medication on children and crazy weird parents. So with that, I hope you guys all have an awesome rest of your day, and thanks again for supporting the channel, liking, subscribing, commenting. Comments are awesome. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it, and I'll see you guys on the next one.